Hello friends, welcome to GoodTecher LeetCode tutorial. Here we are going to solve friend circles coding problem. So I'm going to talk about this coding problem this time because I saw there's a friend leave a comment on my YouTube video channel. So this friend Gao Ziqi, so this friend wrote in Chinese, so asked me to look at this 547 LeetCode coding problem that is friend circles. So here, let's take a look at how to solve this coding problem. So there are n students in a class. Some of them are friends while some are not. Their friendship is transitive in nature. For example, if A is a direct friend of B and B is a direct friend of C, then A is an indirect friend of C, and we define a friend circle is a group of students who are direct or indirect friends. So given a n multiply n matrix M, representing the friend relationship between students in the class. So if this M matrix Ij is equal to 1, the i's and j's students are direct friends with each other, otherwise not. And you have to output the total number of friend circles among all the students. So here there's an example. So input is a two-dimensional array. So 110110001. Output is a 2. So explanations here, the zeros and the first students are direct friends, so they are in a friend circle. The second student himself is in a friend circle, so return 2. So we see here the zeros and the first student, so they mark each other 1, so they are direct friends. They are in one circle. And the second student, so the second student with the other friend, they mark the 0, so they are not direct friend. So the second student is just a friend of himself, so he's in a different circle. So there are total 2 circles for this matrix. And the second example, so input is also a two-dimensional array 1101111011. Output is 1. So explanation here, so zeros and the first student, so they mark the 1, so they are direct friends. And the first and second student are direct friends. So the first and second also direct friends. So the zeros and the second student are indirect friends. So because even though the zeros and the second student, they mark 0, they are not direct friends, but the first student are friends of both zeros and the second students. So that zeros and the second student become indirect friends. So all of them are in the same friend circle, so return 1. So note here, n is in range 1 to 200, and mii equal to 1 for all students. So that means a student is a friend of a self. So if mij equal to 1, the mji is equal to 1. So that means if a person is a friend of another person is also a friend of this person. So look at this two-dimensional array, this example. So maybe at the beginning, at first, you may feel a little bit confused. So how does this two-dimensional array link with a friend relationship? So here I have a better example for you to visualize how does a two-dimensional array link with a friendship. So here, this example. So this is a real example in history. So back to 1960s, so there were 3 persons: Bill Gates, Paul Allen, Steve Ballmer. So like we mark them like a number index. Bill Gates 0, Paul Allen 1, Steve Ballmer 2. So at that time, Bill Gates and Paul Allen, they were already friends. they both went to the same middle school in Seattle, Lakeside Middle School. So they become good friends. And but at that time, neither Bill Gates nor Paul Allen knows this Steve Ballmer. So Bill Gates and Bill Gates himself, we can mark 1. And Bill Gates and Paul Allen. So Bill Gates is a friend of Paul Allen, so mark 1. But Bill Gates didn't know Steve Ballmer, so they are not friends, so mark 0. So Paul Allen also knows Bill Gates. So because Bill Gates is a friend of Paul Allen, so as that note indicates, so Paul Allen is also a friend of Bill Gates. And Paul Allen also is a friend of himself. And Paul Allen didn't know Steve Ballmer too, so mark 0 here. So Steve Ballmer didn't know Bill Gates. Steve Ballmer didn't know Paul Allen, mark 0. Steve Ballmer only knows himself, so Steve Ballmer mark himself as a friend of Steve Ballmer himself. And then come to the 1970s, so this matrix change. So Paul Allen still friend of himself, and Paul Allen already friend of Bill Gates for a long time, so they are still mark 1. And Paul Allen at that time still didn't know Steve Ballmer. And Bill Gates is also still friend of Paul Allen. Bill Gates is a friend of Bill Gates himself, mark 1. So that's 1970s. So Bill Gates went to study at Harvard University. So Bill Gates at there met Steve Ballmer and they become friends. So Bill Gates and Steve Ballmer mark 1 here. So indicate they become friend relationship. So Steve Ballmer also didn't know Paul Allen, so mark 0. And Steve Ballmer, since Bill Gates become friend of Steve Ballmer, so Steve Ballmer also become friends of Bill Gates, so mark 1. So Steve Ballmer still himself, of course, a friend of himself, 1. So here, see this example, so you can see, can visualize the friend circles relationship. So like in 1960s, so here there would be the 2 friend circles, Bill Gates and Paul Allen. So they are direct friends. So they are in 1 friend circle. They were in a small friend circle here. But Steve Ballmer only know himself. Steve Ballmer didn't know Bill Gates nor Paul Allen. So in a different circle. So that's 2 friend circles. And in 1970s, so Paul Allen and Bill Gates, they were direct friends. And Bill Gates met Steve Ballmer and they become friends. So Paul Allen and Steve Ballmer become indirect friends. So they can be introduced by Bill Gates. So this becomes a 1 single friend circle. So see here, so we should notice that there is a condition for us to decide whether to merge a circle into 1 circle. So that is, so if this matrix Ij is equal to 1, is being marked as 1, and this I is not equal to j, so that means this is not the same person. So that's, in that case, we should do like a grouping to create, merge a friend circle. So we should find an approach for us to doing this merging grouping. So actually, we can introduce a very helpful data structure union find for us to solve to achieve this goal. So union find data structure. So here I already wrote an article on my website. So union find is a data structure to find whether two elements in the same group. And the union find also can do merge two groups of elements. So merge elements from two groups into one group. So union find basically supports two operations. One is find, one is a union. So here I already wrote some like a template code in this article, so you can come to read and look at how to implement the union find in the code. So here just read this union find. Since this union find data structure can do in the merging, also find the whether elements in the same group. So it is an ideal data structure for us to achieve the goals for this friend circle problem. Like we can find whether two people in the same circle, and we can also like if that's an indirect friend, like Paul Allen and Steve Ballmer, we should merge them into the Bill Gates friend circle. So here, let's use the union find. So I will here to code to solve this coding problem. So here, as we mentioned, we are going to introduce union find. So let's create a class. Just simply name as a union find. So union find. So inside union find, we would create an array. So that's a array of integers called the parents. So it's storing the group of each element. And here we can have a constructor. So constructor for union find, we can have a union find that takes the input of a number. So this number would indicate the size of this array. So that would be like a new int n. So the length of this array would be n. And also this constructor is going to initialize each element's value for this parents array. So that's int I plus plus. So parents I. So at the beginning, just an index value. And the union find supports two basic operations. So here we can create two methods. So two functions here. So one is find. So find. Suppose we have a input value. So that's x. So we are going to find which group this x belongs to. So if parents x equal to itself, just return itself. Otherwise, we are going to first update this parents x value by calling this function recursively. And the next basic operation, that is union. So union. So union is to doing merge two elements into the same group. So that is int. So we can have like a two number, like a and b. So we can find use a find operation to find which group A and B belongs to. So here we can hold it as a group A is find A. Group B is find B. So if group A not equal to group B, so that we have to update the group A. So the group A's the value inside the array to group B. And here we already complete the basic structure for the union file. So there's a basic structure for union file. And here, for this coding problem, we can customize union file a little bit. So here we would, for our friend circle coding problem, so let's first introduce int variable. So this is also a private int value. So private integer value. So that's called a circle count. So circle count indicate how many circles for this friend relationship. So here, so whenever we're doing the merge, we are going to actually merge two indirect friends into one circle. So that the circle count needs to reduce total count. So friend circle. So friends circle. So we can have a setter and a getter. So we can set circle count to so from the outside of this class, we can use this set circle count to get access to this private integer value to a value like a set circle count s dot circle count to be circle count. And another one, so we can have a getter, so public int get circle count. So get circle count just used to from the outside class, so we can get the value of the total circle count. Okay, so we customize union file class. So now let's go back to the solution class. So here, so first we can have some edge case check. So if this matrix, so the total number of rows is 0, or if the total columns length is 0, so we can just return 0 total circles. So if pass the edge case check, then we can have some matrix to get the those total total number of those. So that's m dot length, and int n is m0 dot length, total number of columns, and then use our union file, initialize a union file object. So new union file, use a constructor we just created. So then to initialize number of elements, for here just m multiply n elements. And at beginning union file, we can set the total circle count to be, so at the beginning, just think about this is different people in a different circle, so that we can use like a small n, since it is a n multiply n matrix like a square, so that m and n actually is the same, so we can use either m or n here. So set circle count to m here is okay. So here after that we are going to have a for loop. So for int 0 and m, this and m and I plus plus. Inside here there's a nested loop, so j smaller than n, j plus plus. So here we are doing that condition check. So we check a condition to decide whether we should do the circles merging. So if this m, I, j is marked as 1, that's a direct friend relationship, and this I is not equal to j, that's not a same person, so that's like a meaningful relationship, so that we should doing the unify union. So we should doing the merge. So we merge ij into one circle, and in the end, after this nested loop finish, so we iterate all the elements, so we would get the answer of the total circle counts for the matrix. So that would be the union phi, since we already have a getter function here, get circle count. So that would give us the answer of a total friend circle count. So before we submit, we can check if there are some typos and errors. So here we initialize this first define this union phi class, since union phi is the ideal structure for us to solve this coding problem. So first initialize an array of integers, that's a parent. So first create this constructor, takes the input n and initialize each element with the index value, and then have two basic operations. Find, so find if it takes element, and we are going to check whether this is just in itself. Otherwise, we will go to recursively to find the update the group of this value of this element, and going to find what is the real group it belongs to. And union merge two elements into one group. Also reduce the total circle count if we're doing a merge union. And have a setter getter for the circle count. And here in the class, solution class, first have an edge case checks, and then we going to initialize the union phi object. First set a circle count to m, and then whenever we are doing friend circle merge, we're going to do your union phi union I and j. In the end, after we get all the iterate all the elements, and we can get the answer, get the total circle count. So here, just click submit. Judging, okay, accepted. So successfully we use the union phi to solve this coding problem. So for this problem, actually we can have some different approach, like a depth first search, breadth first search, to solve this coding problem. but the unified is an ideal structure to solve this problem. So like a unified for this problem is definitely is an ideal because in nature it supports the find and union operations. So it's very suitable to like doing this friend circle merging and finding. So here just also just pay attention to look at how to implement unified like a data structure in the code. What is unified as a data structure? What is the purpose? And then like you can have some look at some example story to help you understand what is unified. So just be practice so you would be remember this unified data structure and comfortable to use it to solve this friend circle problem and other similar coding problem. So here, that's all about this friend circle coding problem. So thank you for watching. Thank you for subscription. So see you next time.